Hey everybody, welcome to Between the Lines with Chris Curran. I'm your host sometimes when Kayla's not here. And tonight we speak with Weymouth High School and Boston University alum, sister of the famous actor, comedian, and podcast host Brendan Butler, amazing special needs teacher, and one of Coco's most favoritist people in the entire world, Miss Alanna Butler.
Aw, hi guys.
How are you?
That was such a sweet introduction. Aw,
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
sweet.
How have
I'm
you been?
good.
We miss you.
I know. I miss you guys too. I've been good. It's very crazy right now, like very chaotic. I just feel like all my time is at work or when I'm home doing work stuff. But I think it's just like the beginning of the year chaos. But I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
That's
Do you
good.
have more kids than last year?
I do. I have 12 students. Yeah.
Wow.
And last year I had, I think, not 8 or 9.
Yeah,
Is
I think,
it
yeah.
is it preschool kids or is it different grades?
No. Oh, yeah. We haven't really caught up. No. So
No.
I'm doing, it's first and second grade now.
Like
So yeah, it's
combined?
combined. Yep. It's like
Okay.
half and half. So totally different. Still like a sub separate. But yeah, it's really fun. It's like a totally new adventure. I loved preschool, but I needed a new job and I
Yeah.
kind of wanted like a little change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm actually working at the elementary school that I went to as a kid. So
Oh, I love
yeah,
that.
That's
yeah.
so
That's
cool.
awesome.
It's very like full circle moment and it's still like weird to me because I feel like a kid at heart and I'm like, I should be on like the other side of this.
I
Yeah.
should actually be a
Uh,
student. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I see the kids, I'm like, must be nice. You have
Does
no
this
Right.
does it
worries.
still look the same, or has there been like upgrades to the school? I mean, you kind of hope, but does it feel familiar, or does it have some
It
changes?
It honestly is very familiar and like very the same. I that wasn't good English, very the same. Very much so, still the same. Yeah, it's very much the same. It's just like I'll walk by certain classrooms and be like, oh, that was my second grade class. There's only 2 teachers there still who were there like when I was a student. So that's really cool to be like on the other side of that. But
Wow.
yeah, it's been great. I love it. It was like unexpected. I literally got hired 4 days maybe before the school year started.
Oh my gosh.
Um, so it was like very last minute. Like I had my interview and they called me back like within the hour. So that was like a confidence boost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything just happened like very, very fast. But it's been awesome. I love preschool. My time with preschool is not done, but it has been a nice a different change, like change of scenery for sure.
Yeah, because they're like a little bit older.
Yeah, a little more independent. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then, like you
Yeah,
said too, it's awesome how it goes full circle. How that's, the elementary that you end up going to, and then you make your rounds, and then you find your way back to that spot, and now you get to make a different impact in a way
definitely.
at that school.
Definitely. It's been so cool. And that was never like just something I had never thought of. It wasn't my dream like, oh my gosh, I need to work where I went to school, but it just everything all my teaching journey has just always like I've just always ended up where I feel like I'm supposed to be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it makes my commute a lot shorter, which I
Yeah.
love.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's helpful.
but just like a little bit. But
Yeah.
You're further away from Mike's though.
I
Yeah.
know.
Which
I
is sad.
know.
Actually, I haven't been there in so long, but
I haven't either. I know. My boyfriend lives in Hanson, so like whenever I'm there, I go to all my like coffee places.
mhm.
I do the rounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do miss it.
I
How
know.
about that?
Well, we miss you.
I miss you guys too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you became a teacher. Is that something you always wanted to do? Was that always one of the focuses you had as you were finishing your, high school and collegiate studies?
No, so I always say that I like fell into teaching. Um, it was definitely not to be cliche. It was definitely what I was always meant to do. I just didn't really like see that. So when I went to college, I studied psychology. I had wanted to be a therapist since I was 12. Yeah, I had this like amazing therapist when I was younger. Um, my parents got divorced, so they were like, go talk to someone about this. And then I saw
I
this.
can see that though, because you're a really good like communicator. So I feel like you
Thank
would have
you.
made a good therapist
Yeah.
as well.
Thank you. I
You're welcome.
appreciate that. So she just had such a big, like a huge impact on me as just a really positive person in my life. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like I want to do this for other kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I always knew I wanted to work with kids. I like had babysat since I was little. In high school, I went to Weymouth High School, but it was like we had like a voc tech program, so I was in the child care program. So I always knew I wanted to work with kids. I just pictured it in a different setting.
Hmm.
So, yep, I went to Boston University and studied psychology, and I was like, I'm gonna be a therapist. I graduated in 2021, like on Zoom. It was very like it was just kind of like, okay, you're done now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I had an extra semester. So like all my friends graduated in the year before or like the semester before.
Mm.
Um, but I was like, "Oh, I actually have a few more classes I need to take." I was a little unorganized.
That's
Um,
okay.
so then I got my bachelor's in psych, and I actually minored in, I forget now, probably should have, like, written this down. I forget, like, what it was called, but it was something like special education in school or, like, behavior, something with, like, behavior, social emotional learning, like, in
Mm.
schools, because I'd really honed in on in college, I wanted to be a school adjustment counselor.
Mm.
Um, because I thought I could reach more kids that way who either, like,
Yeah.
didn't have the funds for traditional therapy or maybe didn't have, like, the family support for traditional therapy. So I wanted to be a school adjustment counselor. So I cannot tell stories in a linear way, but I will try my
I'm the
best.
same way. It's okay. I'm
No,
like
we're
I'm
I
good.
like
like
a terrible storyteller.
yeah, I just jump around. I'm sorry. Um, but so I graduated in 2021, my bachelor's in psych, and then you really can't get any job that you want in psychology in the mental health field with just your bachelor's. Like you have to get your master's. So
Mm.
I kind of
Oh,
was, yeah, it's, I mean, you can get a lot of, it's just very like entry level, which is kind of for any job, you have to start somewhere, but I really did not know this until I graduated from college, and I was like, "Okay, time to go be a therapist." And like I didn't know that you really like a bachelor's in psych is really like it's a good place to start, but you can't do a whole lot with just the bachelor's in that field.
Right.
Um so I was looking for jobs, and then I just had this idea of why don't I work in a school so I can see like how the school adjustment counselor like works and observe them in my free time, which I just laugh at this because there is no free time.
Mm.
But I truly thought I would be spending like a lot of time kind of like shadowing the adjustment counselor, but because I applied for a job as opposed to like an internship and shadowing her, it wasn't really like I saw some stuff, but I mostly was in the classroom. So I
Mm-hmm.
applied for a job as a para at a local preschool, a public school. And so then I was a para in an inclusion preschool classroom. And I knew like a lot of the people at the school just from like growing up in the town, and everyone was super nice. I liked it. I just immediately felt like at home kind of being in the school setting. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it, but I still wasn't putting two and two together like I'm going to be a teacher.
Right. You like this
yeah.
is temporary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there was nothing against it. I just always have thought very like black and white, and like my goal was to be a counselor. So like other ideas I just almost like didn't let seep through.
Right.
Um,
Right.
You're like,
You had like a plan. You were like, this is the plan. I'm gonna. Yeah.
exactly.
you're like, this is a lot of work and not a lot of shadowing. What's going on? You guys are missing the vision.
I know it does. Like when I was like just typing up my little notes, it made me laugh because I remember like how naive I was going into that role with like, yeah, I'm gonna just be observing her the whole time, and I'm like, there is no free time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I loved working in the school, and there's kind of like two things that really like set off the trajectory of becoming a teacher. One was, so I was in the classroom and I kind of became like an unofficial like one-to-one. So like a lot of
Okay.
like special ed students will have like specific, this is your one-to-one aid on your plan. But I
Mhm.
was more it wasn't like implemented like that, but it was just like, this student needs a lot of support and you're gonna help him. So the student was on the autism spectrum, and he was incredibly bright, like so smart. His IQ, I forget what it was, but I like looked it up and it was higher than mine. Like he was a genius. And so he got extremely bored in the classroom, and then that led to some behaviors.
Yeah.
So I kind of was just responsible for kind of keeping an eye on him when those behaviors came out, and just basically being in charge of like his social, emotional, like health throughout the day. And I would just kind of be like do his little token board with him. And I became so close with him. Like I loved working with him, and I felt super like proud of the bond we had, and the like strides I made with him, because he was like very feisty.
Yeah.
So you kind of feel like you always feel honored when like a student like that like chooses you, or you have any kind of like breakthrough with a student. Um
Yeah.
so I loved working with him. He was hilarious, and we just were like really close. And that kind of started like getting my wheels turning, where like seeing his progress and like just having our bond made me like, oh, I might like want to do this. Like this is really like fulfilling and like a great feeling.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like took note of that and put it in the back burner. Um and the year went on. It was great. I loved it. I still didn't even know what I was going to do the next year. I just thought probably be a para again. Um, so because it was 2021, it was still like COVID-y times, like
Yeah.
not full COVID times, but it was much easier to get your emergency teaching license in Massachusetts. Like I was just like, okay. So my
Because I'm sure they
principal,
needed people.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So at the end of that school year, my principal like approached me and said, we have an opening for a classroom next year. Like I would love for you to apply for your emergency license and teach. And I was like, whoa, let me think about it. Cause again, that had just never really been my plan. But I was like, oh, I think this is like a great idea. Like everything was just kind of falling into place. Um, and so I thought about it for like a day or two, and I was like, sure, like I'll do it. So that, and I was also very like proud, like, oh wow, like you think it's kind of a confidence boost too. Like sometimes you need either a confidence boost or like a little push in the right direction.
Yeah.
Sometimes it,
Because
yeah,
that's amazing that you're like, they know I'm the next adjustment counselor, but they think I can teach too. Man, you guys
right.
are really feeding my ego here.
I know, exactly. And sometimes too, like I still am like this. Like I inherently need, sometimes you just need someone else to tell you you're doing a good job, or like it takes an outside
Hmm.
perspective to kind of push you where you should be.
Yep.
So she asked me, and I applied for my teaching license, and because I had taken a decent amount of like special education courses, it was easier to get.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, this is such a long story.
No,
So I
it's
applied
okay.
for it, I got it, and then yeah, that next year I taught inclusion preschool. So it was 3 to 5, and inclusion is typically sometimes half and half. I don't know like the logistical like groupings or pairings, but It's a group of students who are not on IEPs. They're in like a general education setting. And it's a group of students who are on IEPs and have special needs and like services. And I loved it. It was a really tough year, I will say, because I was just completely thrown into can't think of that quote now. Thrown into the fire? I don't know.
Yeah, that works.
Thrown to the wolves.
Thrown to the wolves, yeah.
Yeah.
Fiery wolves.
Yeah,
Right.
fiery.
Right.
Literally. I'm like, what is that saying? So it was a really tough year. Like I absolutely loved it. I adored the kids, and I still always had that sense of like I remember on the first day having that sense of like this is what I'm supposed to do. This is definitely where I'm meant to be. But it was tough because I had no real like training like in the educational setting like college or I
Yeah.
had a little bit but not enough to prepare me. So I've always kind of just been like learning as I go and learning from other people as opposed to like teachers who take the more traditional route and like learn it in school. Um
Right, because it's not like you
and
went to school to become a teacher and then did like student teaching and then became a teacher. It's like so you were like new to the school system and then
yep.
became a preschool teacher kind of like overnight.
Yeah. So I don't even know if you guys know that. I'm like, I just always learned as I went. And it's such an interesting job. Like, that's just all I know. And I do think there's, pros and cons to each side. But it has been, yeah, it was unexpected, but it's it's been great. And then but yeah, I've just kind of learned as I went and by talking to coworkers and admin. And so I just completely backtracked and now I'm in school. I'm in grad school
Mhm.
to get my master's in moderate disabilities.
So for us from a parental standpoint, it seemed beneficial for us because it always felt like you were good on the fly and in
Yeah.
changed circumstances or situations, which for an autistic parent, that's our entire day. You
Yep.
can map out whatever you want, and that can just go in the trash. It can be thrown to the fiery wolves as fast as possible. So the fact that you could kind of move and go on the fly always gave us a level of comfort because we know that you weren't so stuck to the script into one plan when you had 8 to 9 kids. You got to be able to move like water in those situations and be a little bit flexible. And that's what we had always seen, a level of confidence, personability, and then just flexibility as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Definitely. I think that's a big part of probably my journey and then also just teaching as a whole. It's like the more you plan, the more things don't really go right. So
Yeah.
um but yeah, you just have to be flexible and think on the fly. I think that's just how I am as a person. I'm kind of just like very quick to like switch and adjust and be like, okay, let's try this. But a
Mhm.
lot of that was learned over the years. And I think it maybe is a benefit of not learning in a traditional college setting. Like this is how you run your day. Like this is what you're supposed to do. So I do see it as a benefit, even though it is non-traditional. It's just all I know, and I think it is a good kind of like the best way to learn, as scary and tough as it was, is to just do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
as opposed to
absolutely.
Sometimes
yeah,
I think
I'm like,
like the best things like that can happen are when they're like not expected. Like you didn't expect to be a special ed teacher, but
yeah,
it kind of fell into your lap and then you kind of like, oh, this was meant for me. You know what I mean?
definitely.
And it's like, oh, you were always supposed to be here. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we actually talked about that the other day, that like you were meant to be Cole's first teacher. And
Aw, thank you.
in so many ways, in our first year, there were some uncertainties because we were going to go to the BB Russell. And then we were going to go to Downey, and then they didn't know who the teacher was. And then we found out the teacher was you. And then we got to meet you, and just your level of chill and confidence was like the perfect blend for us, because it's what we needed as first time parents bringing a special needs, nonverbal, non-speaking child to the school system, was to have a teacher that was very good on the fly, because Cole is very much on the fly, but two, someone who has the ability to communicate. And it always seems like, whether we speak the same language or not, you always found a good way to communicate with us when taking Cole into school, or when we went to pick him up, just to give us that 10, 15 seconds that gave us that reassurance, because he can't come home and tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. That's really kind. But that's something that's always been important to me, and again, wasn't like taught. I mean, I've always been extremely social and outgoing and friendly, so that part of the job like comes naturally to me. And that's also why I love teaching kids. Like I like to have fun. I'm a kid at heart, definitely. But that part of the job, like the communication, was again never like explicitly taught to me. And there's a lot of things that have had to be explicitly taught to me that I'm like, oh, I would have never considered that. But I just kind of always knew, like, I have the privilege of teaching like the youngest learners, especially just starting with preschool and starting with special ed preschool.
Yeah.
You said it, but that was always in the back of my mind, is like, these are little babies and they can't go home and tell you about their day, and whether it's good or bad. So that has always been super important to me, to give them a voice. And I just know that myself as a parent, I try and like put myself in the parent's shoes. Like I would want to know, even if it is some days just a little bit like, yep, we did Play-Doh, we did this.
just like a little like blurb about their day, because it's hard. That's like hard for me, because I'm very involved. Like even with Chris, like I ask him questions and he's like I just ask him. I'm so curious. Like I'm a curious person. I'm just like, I wish that Cole could tell me about his day. I'm like, oh, what did you learn? What did you do? But he can't. Like, you just want to know that he was at least like happy. He had a good day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's, so that's why I said she was like meant to be his first ever teacher. Who knows who else it would have been, like, if it wasn't you. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, would we have had the same like amazing year and felt confident like him going to school the next year? You know what I mean? Because if we had a teacher who barely communicated with us, like, and things started off rocky, we would have been like, you know what I mean? It just would have been so different.
Yeah.
But we kind of had such a good experience with you as his teacher the first year that it gave us so much confidence to send him to a public school, because it's scary. I stressed out the entire summer before he went to school. Beyond, like, I like almost made myself sick over sending him to school.
Yeah,
so
because
then
you can't be there, and I'm just so like cognizant of the fact that they're tiny, they can't tell you about their day,
Yeah.
and how like anxiety inducing that must be is just something I've always just connected with. Like, I, as someone who's very anxious, I'm like, if I was in their shoes, like, I would need to know everything and have that sense of like safety and reliability. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but thank you. That's really sweet.
No.
But yeah, that's something that just always came naturally to me. And it's like, you gotta know. And I think I also learn so much from you guys, like, about all the students, especially about Coco. Like, I think collaborating is super important. Even just talking to you before the school year starts, or even if I just send home a simple sheet that's like, tell me about your child, I learned so much. I'm like, oh, I would have had no idea that they liked this show or that they don't like this. So I think it's super important, and it teaches me a lot as well.
Yeah, and being receptive like that. I mean, it's easy to say for us because we're parents, so you're going to kind of nitpick on the things that you would like from a teacher or not like from a teacher. But your level of communication and the energy that you had brought on daily basis, like we attribute that to him loving school, because that was always going to be such a concern. Is like, school is not mom and dad, and that's what he knows the most. So him running into school every single day, it's like that started with you being part of that foundation. So obviously,
Thank
thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. That means so much to me because sometimes, like, as a still fairly new teacher, there's so much that I like pride myself on, but there's so much that I'm still like, I don't know what I'm doing. But like hearing things like that and just all the connections I've built with like families who give me that great feedback like really means so much and really keeps me going. But I always I love those little wins. Like when I would see him run into school, I'd be like, yes, like I
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
get so pumped. And just seeing like his growth over the year, I think that's like one of my favorite things as a teacher is just seeing that growth, whether and I'm not even talking like academics, but just the growth from like being kind of nervous to loving school and trying new things. Just that like social growth is so amazing to see. I love it.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
thing at the early ages.
Yeah, he Cole has come so far, like socially, like it's not in the way that he'll just run up to kids and want to play with them necessarily, but just like he's doing amazing at doctor's appointments, he's doing amazing at dentist
Yeah.
appointments, which I I I feel like I have PTSD from bringing him to doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
They were so hard, and I think he from school and being in like a safe environment with you and the paras and the other kids, like I think he got more socialized and felt comfortable around like new people because of you
Yeah.
guys. So it's been amazing to see his progress just for being in school for a year.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
He is one of those kids that was just like, whoa, like it was such a change. And it's always the kids always grow and change, but he just had like a complete 180, like this is a totally new kid. And that
Hmm.
Yeah.
you always see great growth, but that can be rare to see like such progress, so much growth in such a short amount of time. And that's not all me. But I'm saying
Yeah.
like Cole is amazing too. Like that is pretty rare to see like just the kiddo I met at the orientation and then like the kiddo who left on the last day of school was like so different. It's so amazing to see.
Well, I remember yeah, orientation, I was scared because he was like upset. You know, he was
Hmm.
scared. It was a new place, which we knew it would happen, but then I think the first day was the next day, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is gonna be like bad. Like, you know, me and Chris, like, I think Chris took the day off from work,
Yeah.
and I forget if I did, because we were so stressed out, like that we had to take the day off from work. Like we because we didn't know,
Yeah.
and then we were like, we just want to be with him if like things didn't go well. And then and especially because orientation, he was like a little uneasy and like we didn't know how it was gonna go. And then
Yep.
we had a plan. We were like, we're going to just sit in the parking lot the entire 2.5 hours that he's in school. Because if he
Yeah.
needs us, we'll be right there. Even though we live so close, we were like, no, we're just gonna we're gonna sit in
Oh,
the
that's
parking.
so sweet, though.
Yeah, we were like, we might go get a coffee, but then we're gonna come back and just sit in the
Yeah.
parking lot. And then he went right in. Like I think we came in the classroom for like a second because he like wanted us to, but
Yep.
then he was fine, and we were just like, this is so weird. Like, we didn't know
Yeah.
what to do because he was like, and also you had sent me pictures of the classroom,
Yes. Okay, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
which
like, show him this.
which I
Yeah.
think was huge because that was after the orientation. You sent me the pictures, and then I showed him, and I was like, remember, like, this is where you went yesterday. This is where we're going to go. So then when we got to school and he walked in the classroom, he was like, oh, like, he recognized it from the picture. I feel like it made him like that much more at ease, and it was like, so it was amazing that you did that because I feel like Not everybody would have done that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like a saint.
I
But
just
no,
got it like that.
I appreciate that because that's like one of the biggest things I've learned with working with this population is like the familiarity, the routine, and like the visuals, the pictures of literally everything. That was something I had no idea about when I first started. And now like every single day I'm on lesson pics and symbol sticks and like get or
Mhm.
the real pictures are usually great too.
Yep.
Just getting like a visual icon for like every single thing I tell them and just giving them a schedule, like what to expect is super important. So I'm glad that like seemingly like small act like made such a big difference. And then that's why I keep using these things and learning like, okay, that helped him a lot. Maybe it'll help this kid a lot. Maybe it
Mhm.
won't, but we'll try it. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I think because of that, like I started doing that more with him, like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna take a picture of this and put it on his AAC, or even just like sometimes I'll just pull up a picture on my phone, like I'll Google like a certain park that he likes to go to, and I'll show him the picture, and he'll be like, oh, like that's where we're going, and then he'll like get in the
Yeah.
car. Where before, like we'd be like, all right, cool, we have to go, like we're going here, and he just like won't wanna go, and then I'm like, "No, we're going here," and I show him, like, a visual, and he's like, "Oh, okay,"
Yeah.
and then he'll, like, wanna go because he can see like,
Yeah.
sometimes, like, I know he can hear me and understand me, but
Yep.
I think seeing, like, the actual space, like, it just clicks in his brain more.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it's so helpful for everything. That's something I learned a lot. Yeah, like a lot of my kiddos this year too. I like exactly what you just said. I know you can see me and hear me and I know you know what I'm saying, but the visual just really like I don't know the science behind it, but it just really like solidifies what you're saying and I feel like they're way more receptive to that. Like the we have everything like in the IEPs pair all verbal information with visual.
Yes.
Um, and it just makes like a huge difference. Yeah, it's awesome.
It does, it really does. That's why I told Cole's new teacher, like, if you guys are going to, like, a different room or a class or like going somewhere he hasn't been before, like maybe show him a picture because that way
Yeah,
but I don't think he struggles this year as much with transitions as he did last year
good.
because like
Yeah,
school was so new to him last year, but now I feel like he transitions like pretty easily now, but it was because like so much work, you know what I mean, like so much work was done last year to like he just you know got better with transitions.
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
you've seen his school pictures now.
I was so I that is one the cutest picture I've ever seen in my life, and I need a copy. But I was like, this makes me look bad because you had a really
No,
bad time. No, but
no.
no, I'm just kidding. It's just the opposite. It makes me like so happy again with his growth. It's like, oh my gosh. But that is so cute. Send me a picture. But I was like,
Yes.
"Oh, no, last year he had a tough time." But it was, like, it's hard, it's the way beginning of the year, it's a
Mhm.
new space, so yeah, definitely now that he's been in the same school for a year, I think that makes a huge difference
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
all of it last year. Everything was it was all first. First time
Yeah,
going to the playground, first time going to the gym, first time hearing the sound of the bells throughout the school. Like
yep,
all of that kind of stuff was all so brand new where now, he's gone through it all before.
yeah, and he's like, "I know what to expect." Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the
awesome.
turn like, yeah, I think you guys they do pictures in October, so he'd only been in school for, like, not even a month
Yeah,
with you,
it's super new.
and he wasn't used to all the transitions, so it's like you have to leave he had to leave his safe place, which was the classroom, and then you guys
Yep,
went to the gym, and then there was,
which
like
is,
that was
like, crowded.
yeah,
Yeah.
and there was all new
Yeah,
stuff. So it's like I can imagine, but now I feel like he's been there a couple times before and he's used to like leaving the classroom, coming back. And yeah, I was shocked when I
yeah.
saw that picture. I
Oh,
so we didn't even get the pictures back officially. Like I looked on like the Life Touch like website
yeah,
cuz my mom friend told me that you can like they like upload it onto there. So I like looked
nice.
at it and when I clicked it and it showed up I was like And I had like tears. I was like, oh my God. And Chris was still sleeping because it was we take turns waking up with Cole. And I like sent it to him and I was like, oh my God, I'm crying.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
seriously, I cried too. I'm like, that is so cute.
So
And
cute.
it's not even just, yeah, like how cute the picture is. It's the fact that he was happy, safe, like genuine, like that smile is genuine, like in front of a photographer, in front of the lights. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is just so, so awesome.
Right.
And
It's not about right. It like wasn't about just the picture itself. It was like so much more than that. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, like it's like everything.
And you're one of
Yeah.
the only people who can compare. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So with last year's pictures, we didn't give those out to people because we didn't really want to put Cole out
Why?
in that. Yeah, we didn't want to put
Yeah.
him out in that light, and
Yeah.
you know, for people to see some of that vulnerable moment. So we end up taking a picture at the house before and then change the background
remember
and,
that.
and stuff like that because we wanted to make his first school year a very good experience for him and then for, you know, the grandparents, aunts and uncles, people who are going to hang a picture up on the fridge. So now this year it's a little bit different. You know, we'll
Yeah.
actually we'll be able to have something from a school picture.
Yeah, and that's just like that's such a huge moment that I think a lot of maybe parents or teachers of kiddos who aren't um special needs like don't even think of. It's like, okay, go
Mm-mm.
smile for picture day. It's like that is such so much significance in
Yeah.
that
They don't think
picture.
about it. Yeah, they do not. They don't have to, and that's not their fault. They don't have to
Yes,
think about it. There's so many things that parents of like neurotypical kids they don't have to, and it's nobody's fault. But it's just yeah, it's hard to explain to them like why it's such a big deal. But a lot of people do like get it. They're like it's amazing, you know what I mean? So it's
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice for the people who do understand or can like relate.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you're
exactly.
one of like 6 people who had seen
Yeah.
last year and this
Yeah,
picture as well. So it's like you can't really talk to many people. They don't get to see some of the ins and outs of it, but you're actually one that's like, no, I was there and had seen it and had seen the changes throughout, where it's not just the picture, you
exactly.
know.
It's so yeah, that's so amazing. And send me the picture. I'll text you my address.
I
I
will.
need that. Or I'll just
Yeah.
come over.
Yeah.
Yeah, come
But
over.
yeah.
You guys have to
We'll
go
go
get coffee
we'll
at
go get
Mike's or something.
coffee. We'll
Yes,
get coffee.
honestly, literally, I would love that.
Me
Oh
too.
man, that is awesome.
Yay.
Let me ask you this too. Has your prep work for schooling changed throughout the grades or anything that you're going through, or as you've become maybe a little more established, do you have a foundation and things that you're adding in? Because now, like you said, you're with first and second graders. Last year you're with preschoolers, and prior to that as a para. So how has that developed and changed throughout that's contributed to your success as a teacher?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I hope no like prospective teachers get scared watching this because this year has been rough because I have had to completely start from scratch. So the prep work
Mm-hmm.
is a lot. I've been like staying at work super late. I go in super early, but I know that it's like the only time that I'll be this busy and that I'll be like doing work stuff this much. And this is like no one's making me do this, but it's more just like now that I've gotten to know the kids and their skill sets, I like
Mm-hmm.
adjust my lessons. Whereas the last 2 years, I was doing the same at the same school and the same program, the substantially separate preschool. So that first year was a lot of prep, and then I just kept everything. Teachers are hoarders, like always keep everything, and that like transferred over. So the last 2 years were pretty simple because it is like we don't have like a set curriculum for them. It's just very and it's not easy because it's so individualized.
Oh
So
yeah.
so that's something I'm working on right now where the kiddos are like really all at different levels. And that's probably the most amount of prep work as a teacher, as a special ed teacher, is the differentiated instruction. Um, because they can all be working on the same overarching goal or the same overarching like subject, but everyone's work is going to look different. And that is something my first year I was not great about or didn't really like understand. And that's something I've definitely gotten like much better at. So even like last year, like one student's morning work would be like tracing their name, and the other students would be just like building their name with blocks, and the other student is like unable to recognize letters yet. So they would just be doing like, I can't think of a good example, but like a totally different activity, but just kind of within the same realm.
Yeah.
So this past school year has been like a lot. I've had an amazing mentor teacher at my school now who sends me stuff, and she had a lot of my students last year, so that's been incredibly helpful. But I do feel like kind of every year I like start from scratch because I'm either like a new district
Mhm.
or like a new setting. Um, but yeah, the last 2 years were like pretty simple, and this year has been like nonstop as of right now. But once you kind of get into your like a lot of days when I'm like stressed and overwhelmed, my dad always talks me off the ledge, and he's like, this will be the only time you're this busy because it's so
Yeah.
new. Like he's like,
Mhm.
you just kind of have to find your system because I find a system and then I change grades or change
Mm-hmm.
schools. So I am flexible, but it's still like a lot. And I also might not have the best like foundation and system and organized because I also have ADHD, which makes
Mm.
like being a teacher like really, really hard, like just the staying organized. And I think the biggest thing too with being any type of teacher is that there's always more to be done. Like it feels like never ending, which can be super anxiety inducing and daunting. Like you finish one task and there's almost always something else to do.
Yeah.
Mhm. And you
And
take your
that
work home with you when you're a teacher.
Oh,
definitely.
you're speaking to the daughter of a teacher, to the sister of a teacher.
Oh
Her whole
yeah,
family
yeah,
is
yeah.
teachers. So
Yeah.
we've always seen prep work over the summers and, over the, oh, I got to grade tests tonight. I got to do this. And even during the winter time, it's a never ending job.
Yeah.
And in your situation too, I kind of think about that because you can come up with lesson plans for the entire class. But you having 12 kids, that's like 12 different IEPs. Like you said, you're working on, these three are doing this, which is similar. Those two are doing that. This one's doing this. It's such a moving target before you even start the day. So it almost seems like
Definitely.
come up with a plan and then you have 12 kiddos pulling that plan apart. So
Yeah,
the
exactly.
success is almost being flexible and saying, that's why I think that we saw a lot of success with you too, is because you're very good on the move. As
Yes. You
opposed to
gotta be.
only, yeah, as opposed to only being good with the structure of like, I'm really good when I have to do it this way. You're good on the fly in so many ways because we got to see you interact with other kids and other parents during pickups. And that level of communication wasn't just with us, it was with everybody,
Yeah,
you
thank
know?
you. I'm glad it's a positive thing because that is one thing that I'm trying to be better at is I guess I see it in a more positive light now that I'm talking to you guys is kind of like being on the fly. Like I try and do the same thing every day at the same time every day. And I used to kind of like when something wouldn't go right, just kind of pivot. And I would in my head think of that as like, oh, this is bad. I'm not stick like my class is unstructured. Um, but now, especially because those kiddos love like the specific like routines.
Yeah.
Um, but now you're painting it in like more of a positive light, which I appreciate and kind of needed to hear that, this population, like you need to sometimes just be like, okay, never mind, we're doing this now.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think that's definitely something I've learned as I went. Like today, just this morning, I was doing my like sight words with my class and they were just so unengaged. So I was like, okay, like, let's fast forward and we're going to do our movement break now. Even just kind
Yeah.
of those little things. I'm like, okay, never mind. We're doing this now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that, like, that's really good because, I mean, that's how we have to be too. Like, sometimes we'll bring Cole somewhere and we're like, he's gonna love this. Like, we brought him to the zoo over the summer and we're like, he's gonna be so happy. Like, he loves animals.
Parents of the year.
Like, he's gonna like just be laughing and
Yeah.
smiling. And I don't want to say he hated it, but like, we didn't really think about,
Just
like,
liked it.
it was hot. It was too hot. Like, it was wicked hot. Sorry, I just said that it was hot like 3 times.
It was hot.
It was
It was wicked hot.
wicked
Wicked
hot.
hot.
And the sun was like beaming down. And I think that looking back, like in the moment, I didn't really think like, oh, this is why he's not enjoying it. But then
Yeah,
afterwards, I was
sometimes
like,
you don't know. Yeah.
yeah. And then I was like, no, like if it was like a cool fall day, I think he would have like had a blast or been not as dysregulated. But he wanted to be like carried the whole time. Kind of just like,
Yeah.
he wanted to be interested, but he wasn't because I think everything else was like
The
overshadowed.
environment and the elements wouldn't let him. He couldn't get past that. So there's so many
Yeah.
times where we think this is going to be amazing. We're going to crush it on this. And like you said, he pivots and we're like, well, there goes that entire plan. Because there's
Right.
so many
Yep.
times, especially over the summer and the times that in the days and the nights that we have together where we try to schedule certain things and say, we should be doing this as a family. And he doesn't want to leave his room for 6 hours. He wants
Yeah.
us to sit on the floor with him. And we're like, well, there goes that Saturday picnic in the park.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to just like be flexible. And again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sometimes I don't because everything is just moving really fast and the ADD. I really am trying to be better at like just sitting and like reflecting just in general, like my teaching practices, but just in my daily life. I'm just like always the wheels are turning. But I've always kind of felt like when I go off schedule, it's like a negative thing. So I do appreciate that. You've like totally flipped my perspective on that being like a positive.
It's
And so
such
yeah,
a positive.
I
and
appreciate it.
I don't want to say it because I'm not your boss, but I almost want to tell you like trust your gut because from one set of parents that their kiddo means the world to them, it feels like for us it's made such an impact in not only our comfort in sending our child to school, but also his perception of schools. Like we think that your ability to move and kind of be fluid with what you're doing has just led to the success that we've had. I mean, that's all we can say.
Yeah. Like at OT, he doesn't love doing certain things. And we always try, right? Like they'll always try with him to do something like an activity. And it's like at one point you're like, all right, he's just not going to do this activity. Like you try it.
Yeah, move on.
But
Yeah.
if he's not doing it, just you have to move on because it's like you can't force him to do something that he's not going to do. It's almost like, all right, this isn't working. You want him to do it. You're like, come on, Cole, like get the animal out of the water or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever they want him to do. And he's just like, no, I don't want to do it. And you're like, all right, well, we'll do something else, maybe circle back to it. But you just have to like go with the flow and figure it out. Like, and that's okay. Cause I'm like, I would never want to sit there as a parent and watch the OT be like, no, like you have to pull that animal out of the water before we do anything else. Cause I'd be like, we're leaving. We're gonna go. Yeah.
Cause that's the biggest thing too, is like, you're not going to force them because one, that's just cruel. And two, they're not learning or they're not getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I definitely I think like my first year or two, when a certain like schedule I had in my head didn't go well, I would just be like, oh my God, like I have to change everything. And or I would just like kind of throw it all away. And now I've been better at like just tweaking what needs to be tweaked without being like overwhelmed, and more so like doing it on my feet. And a lot of that does just comes with doing it every day and learning. Like
Yeah.
even
Mm-hmm.
the other day, I thought I had this great lesson planned. A lot of my kids have like story, like sequencing and retelling on their IEPs. And my like mentor teacher sent me this book, and I didn't have the physical version of the book. So I was like, okay, I'll play up the video and then we'll do like just like the cut and paste, like what happened first, second, third, fourth. And I played the video and it was like not really engaging, and then me and my parents are sitting there doing the activity, and I'm like, I don't even know what happened next. Like none of us even. So I was like, so then I like went home. I was like, okay, just like glue the pictures on and we'll pivot. And then I like went home and like bought the book and was like, okay, now I like everything is always a learning experience, and I'm always trying to be like better, not to be cliche, but I just keep learning as I go. So I'm like, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
need like a physical book with physical prompts and this and that, and to teach things more like explicitly. So I learned, they were like, wait, what happened third? And I'm like, I don't know. So like, and I also am like I take my job like very seriously. Like it's so important to me and I love it, but I also am so like can be so like I'm not serious at all at the same time. And I think that's kind of why this job work, like I'm very serious when I need to be and with my passion for it.
Right.
Yeah.
But my parents like, you just crack me up all day because like a kid will just say something crazy and I'm like, all right, moving on. Like I just always
Yeah.
had a bit of humor. Like it's not that serious.
You have to be like,
Yeah,
you have
like
to
you
have
have to
humor.
like
You have to have that.
just like make it
Yeah.
fun.
You have to have that level of
Yeah.
levity because it can be a difficult situation. Now you have 12 kiddos. That
Yeah.
can be challenging. If one kid can throw off the entire atmosphere of the class, like we know that. We've
Yeah.
the meltdowns are real.
Yep.
Like that happens. It's unavoidable. At some point in time, every kid's gonna go through that. But
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
it's being able to maneuver with what's going on. That's
Yeah.
such a big deal.
Exactly. Just like maneuver and have grace and be patient. And when things are funny and silly, just don't take it too
You
seriously.
gotta laugh at it. Like
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah, it's
like
like it's fun.
we try to find levity in everything as well on a daily basis, and
Mm-hmm.
because you're working, you're raising kids, you're doing all of that stuff. You got to be able to find some of the humor in what's going on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
always like my younger brother is always like, "Do you have any like funny stories to tell?" Because I always go home with like funny stories, and
Yeah.
like this girl in my class usually speaks in like 1 to 2 word like utterances, and yesterday she looks at me and goes, "Michael Jackson," and I'm like, "Yeah, like what about him?" And she just goes, it's kind of morbid, but it's also just like hilarious, like things that come out of their mouth. She goes, Michael Jackson died. I'm like,
Oh,
"Yep, you're right."
yes, he
It's
did.
very true.
And
True
just
Not
like
that.
lying.
that, yeah, and
Not
just like
lying.
that
Fun fact.
little yeah, I'm like, "How do you know that?" And it's funny because, and it's like, that's all you're gonna get. If I ask her any follow-up questions, that's it. And it's just kinda like
Yep.
those just like funny, but that was maybe not the best example, like so random and morbid, but just like
No.
the little quotes really like get you through the day.
Yeah.
Um
No, I love
And just
that.
like yeah, yeah, I was like,
I would have been like, all right, okay, girl,
yeah,
you're not wrong. Like
yeah, but I'm just like,
he
how do
is.
you know that? And yeah, it's just like it's very fun, and you just have to make it, and it's challenging too, but you just have to kind of be prepared for anything. And I think like you said, like my energy, I really have to like, I can be so tired, but like you just kind of have to turn it on.
Yeah.
And but also the kids bring it out of you. Like when I'm like going to the door to greet the kids, it like actually does like, yay, like I'm excited to see
Yeah.
you. Like it does
Yeah.
like wake you up and start your day. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Because they're like, even though I'm sure like it's challenging and it's a lot of kids and they need to stay regulated, but like they are awesome little people. You know what I mean? Like I've seen,
Yeah.
so it's like I feel like even just like being a part of the autism community now, I'm like, I don't want to be a teacher, but I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I would love to work with kids on the spectrum too, because I like, not that I understand all of them, you know what I mean? Because I understand my own son, but I feel like they're just they're amazing. They're amazing humans, and yeah, I just feel like they're awesome to be around.
Yes, they are. It's so rewarding. It's so fun. They're so
Mhm.
amazing. They teach me so much like every day. And especially when they are some nonverbal or like have limited output and then you'll just see them like typing something on their iPad or they're just kind of like circle a question correctly and it's like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know you knew that." Like that's awesome.
Yeah,
Like
they
I
surprise you.
yeah, I had my first year at Downey, I had a little boy in my class who I absolutely adored, and he just did not speak. So to me, I thought he was just completely nonverbal. Um, and sometimes it's hard to like gauge what they know when they don't have like the verbal output.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then like we had the classroom iPads and he would just like type words all the time, like horse, like all like really big words and like match it to a picture. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you knew that. And he would look up the alphabet in like different languages and just
Oh
like
my
watch it and
gosh.
be so enthralled. And I'm like, I know you know what that is. He'd be like, alphabet song in Russian, in Serbian. Um, and
Stop.
then but it was funny. So that like, and that was like months into the school year. I was like, oh my gosh, you like know so much. And it's
Mhm.
always really fun to see. But that kid just like really cracked me up because he like I said, I thought he was nonverbal, but it was more like like when he would kind of he warmed up, he started speaking. And it was always like in a whisper. Um and he would only talk the only things he would say though, oh, I love him. Like he is one of my just always in my heart. He would like whisper and talk so low, like you'd have to get so close. And he'd just be like, Skittles. And he'd just be like, Skittles or Starburst, like pink Starburst. He'd just like whisper in my ear.
Like,
Or like
maybe he was trying to like tell you like, Skittles
oh, and
lady, like,
I would, yeah, I had candy, but I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know you could speak, and it's just you are so bright. It's just like you're like I don't want to talk to you.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
he would just, and everything was in a whisper, and it just cracked me up. And he would only whisper like Starburst and then turn around. Like he loved when I would pick him up and turn him around. So he'd just come up and be like, and I'm
Stop.
like, okay.
That's so
But
That's
cute.
they're all just so like individual and quirky and like have these amazing traits and like these amazing like stories I have about them.
Mhm.
I just it's great. I like I said it was an unexpected journey, but it was definitely like this is what I was meant to do. I just didn't realize it. Um and yeah, then I love it.
like a lot of the kids, it was random. But
Yeah.
it worked out. I know
Yeah.
Cole started whispering, "Good night, everybody,"
Yeah, it's just
because
like
it's
what
it's
did
on
you
a show that he watches, but it's the cutest thing because he whispers it. You know?
so random. Yes. And
Yeah.
everything has just been like I've just wound up where I'm meant to be. Like at Downey, I also got the job like days before school started and I like wasn't super familiar with Brockton because I didn't grow up far, but it's just like you don't venture out there. So
Yeah.
I knew nothing about the specific schools or school system, and I was just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I ended up here." Like everyone I work with, absolutely adore. All the students I adore, but like I loved working there. And I just couldn't believe that it was just like a random like school spring ad. Like I knew nothing about the school, and I ended up meeting like the most amazing supportive coworkers. Like I legit loved it there so much to the point where my younger brother, he worked there for a year too because I was like, I love it here so much. Like, you gotta come. Like, and he had never really worked in a school, but he's just kind of sweet and outgoing. And so he was a para in a separate class too. And I'm
Oh,
like,
that's
it's
cool.
just a great school, but everything was always pretty. This is just kind of how I am, if you couldn't tell, just pretty like unplanned and
Mhm.
last minute, but it just always worked out like, oh my gosh, like this this is awesome. Like, it just always worked out. And I love it.
What you need in those situations, especially in our situation, is just real people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's so much more important than you're looking at a piece of paper with all the experience. You're like, all your experience might not do all that much in this situation. You need someone who can kind of match the energy in the room, because there's a lot of energy. I'm sure you see it. There's a
Yeah.
lot of demand in teachers, but also in special needs teachers.
Yeah. I just like turn around to do one thing. I'm like, hold on, I'm helping him. Hold on, turn around. This gets, but yeah, that's kind of, it just like help. That's honestly like, it is tough, but it's amazing and I love it and it's fun. And I like cannot see myself doing anything else. And I'm like not perfect. Like I'm still learning. I'm still new. I'm always trying to be better, but it's just fun at the end of the day. It's like a
Yeah, and
lot of
I
work,
feel like
but
you'll gain experience, like, every year you just keep getting better and better, you know what I mean? And, like,
yeah, definitely.
if you do, like, land in a certain grade, like, if you stay at grades 1 and 2 and you know what I mean? Like, you get a few years under your belt, it's like you'll like your dad said, that was, like, great advice, like, by your dad, though.
He gives me the best advice and like always knows like exactly what to say to like help and like genuinely help me. Like my dad is my bestie, my roommate. But
I
yeah, he
love
always
that.
just
Yeah.
like
And he wears great
he
hats.
yeah, I
He
guess.
he was
Yeah.
great to have.
Wears great hats.
Well, I always say that too. I'm like, I actually have like the perfect like for a teacher of students with autism. I'm like, my dad is a train conductor. Like, it couldn't be more perfect because a lot of students there they like love trains. That's their special interest.
Yeah.
So I'm always like
We got to set something up.
that yeah, no. What yes, literally. He loves to like come into the class too and like be engaged. But yeah, he's definitely I always tell him he is like my personal therapist because he gives great advice, but it's not just like what you want to hear. It is, but it's like he just knows me so well. It's like always like, oh, you're right. Okay. Like everything's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it is good because it's like, yeah, right now, like, when you are newer in the field and it's like things are gonna be harder because
Yeah.
you're still, like, learning and growing, but but as you, like, get more experience, like, it will feel, like, easier, you know what I mean? Not, like, easy, but
No, 100%. I'm like, I just need something like even just like lessons to like keep it just I feel like I keep like starting new. So,
yeah, yeah,
but it's always like a good change and I've just been bopping around. But
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
And let me ask this too. How is your, I mean, because at this point in time, you've sat through quite a few IEP meetings,
Yes.
right? So, like,
I had one today.
there you go. Exactly. So, like, is there a certain preparation that you do for that? Or what's one thing that you would like to, that you want to see achieved from a teacher's standpoint? Because you're not necessarily the district, you're not the parent, you're somewhere in the middle where you're kind of representing a little bit of both. You want everyone to come to terms and kind of meet with what their goals are. From a
Yep.
teacher's standpoint, what's like a best case scenario for you?
That is a great question. I think best case scenario is the student first. The student is getting all the services they need and require, and just for everyone to be like happy and on the same page. And I'm lucky where I've never had like a negative experience. It's always kind of worked out that way. But I think the IEP, a huge part of it is collaboration with the parents, as you guys know. So,
Mm-hmm.
you ask the parents their concerns and anything. And then after I read off like all of my proposed like goals and objectives, I ask the parent, like, does that look okay to you? Do you think that's appropriate? Is there anything you want to change? Because some stuff like I had one recently where I wrote an objective for a student and the mom was like, oh no, they can do that. And I was like, oh, good to know. Like I hadn't witnessed it in the classroom.
Mhm.
So definitely I think just sometimes like the paperwork and like the writing of the goals can be so like daunting or like repetitive that you not me, but you can sometimes lose sight of the fact that it's like this isn't just like paperwork. It's like this is a student's like individualized plan.
Hmm.
So really
Mhm.
sitting and looking at like what they need and like what is best case scenario for them and like putting the student first and having everyone be happy with the outcome, and luckily, that has always been the case. Like, I've just gotten lucky where the meeting, and that's something also you learn as you go. Like, my first year was, like, terrifying. I was like I felt like like, hardcore imposter syndrome. I'm like, "I don't know what I'm doing." I'm like, "I don't know what I'm doing." And now,
Yeah.
like, I'm definitely more comfortable, and I always, like, ask the parents, like, "Does this look, like, okay to you and appropriate for them and, like, for what you're seeing at home too?" And it's great when typically we're all, like, on the same page. Like, the meeting I had today when I was just talking about what the student currently does, the mom was like, "Okay, we see that at home too, like, so that's great, and, like, he does this at home." And she's like, "Yeah, that all looks good," and that's like, yay, best case, that's always
Oh,
like best case scenario.
absolutely. It
Yeah.
gets tough if you have like the district pulling in separate directions from what the kid needs or the parents, and that's where it can kind of be tough in that situation because you are the person who bridges the gap where you get to see the kid in school.
I have had always good experiences, but yeah, some I've never like, and I've heard horror stories, and I've heard like
Yeah.
what you're discussing isn't. I think I'm just honestly maybe like a rarity where I've had these things where we're all aligned, and that doesn't. I think that's honestly just like luck or chill parents, or just like the district is giving the student everything they need. So I've been lucky to be on that side when, like, everything doesn't go as planned, or, like, when, like, that student, like, doesn't get what he needs because of, like, one specific test when, his mom who's with him all the time and his teacher's with him a good portion of the day is seeing, like, "No, he needs XYZ because of these, behaviors and, like, attributes."
That's the type of like that's the type of child that's tough when it's like they're like in an evaluation. They may like
Yeah.
they may not seem that they need services,
Yeah.
but they do, and they are like, I've heard of people that they're diagnosed autistic, um, but like they're fully speaking and they can
Exactly.
like do well academically, but they struggle with like focus and socially and like other things, and they won't get like the services that they need. Like they won't get OT or speech or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because to
That was, like,
them,
exactly sorry,
no,
go
it's
ahead.
okay. No, just like they won't get what they truly need because they're like on that
Because that
line.
1 to 2 to 3 hour test that someone might have, certain
Exactly.
triggers aren't there. And you're like, I've had this student for 3 months. And you're like,
Yep.
you saw this person for an hour and maybe you didn't see certain things, but maybe the test didn't require them to do certain things that may have triggered you to become more aware of that.
Yeah, that was, like, this exact case, and
That's so tough.
he was so bright, so a lot of it is, like, I'm actually not, I shouldn't speak on what I don't know, which is, like, that testing, but
Mhm.
I'm assuming, like, the academic piece, like, he's very bright, so they were just like, "Okay, no, you don't qualify," and it is frustrating, and that's luckily I've only had the one experience in this is my 4th year teaching, but I'm sure it'll happen, knock on wood that it doesn't.
Yeah, and I feel like on the other end, there are people who, have kids that have higher needs that, yeah, maybe a public school system just really don't have the resources or like just can't give the child exactly what they need. And I understand that aspect too, because it's like, I think that probably happens as the kid gets a little bit older. Like,
Yep,
you know what I mean? If they're struggling and they're like, all right, he or she's not doing well. I think
yeah,
like they have needs that like the classroom in a public school just can't meet. And I think
yep,
that's probably when the IEP meetings get a little tricky too, because the parents are probably like, all right, like he's not getting what he needs at a public school, so what do we do? And so that's like what I've seen from like the other
Yeah, because
side.
it's almost in that situation of what does the kid need for services in comparison to what can we provide that kid with the services. I think there's such a disconnect
Yeah.
in those ways where it's like, if there's that level of honesty, like, listen, based on your kid's evaluation and what we've seen, they deserve this, this, and this. This school, with the personnel, the budget, the time that we do have, we can only provide this and this. So you will
Yeah.
potentially be missing a piece that can be provided at another district, which may not be easy for everyone, but to at least have some level of honesty with, your kid may have higher needs and we don't, we have 12 kids in a class.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that I think that certain districts fight to keep the kid in the school system.
Mhm.
That I have heard. Okay, now
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have heard from that side. And I guess I've just
Yeah.
been like, I don't want to say lucky, but I guess just all the students I've come across thus far just do kind of need the typical speech OT, the things that the school does provide. And a lot of my students too do get like outside services.
Mhm.
And one amazing thing about the school I'm at now is that my two paras are both ABA specialists. So they're
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
specially trained to work with this group, and that's something I'm not used to. I've always had amazing paras, but I'm just like, oh wow, like it's just that extra level of like they're really getting everything they need in the classroom. So
Yep.
that's been like amazing to have, and I've been learning so much from them, and that's something that's new to me to see is like, oh wow, like you're also getting like their pair, I think it's ABA, like ESPs is like the a million,
Yeah.
just letters. But that has been like really, really cool to see and be able to work with, and just know that
Mhm.
the students are getting that extra level of um like staff that have that experience to work with them.
Yeah, because it is one thing to have great staff. You can't replace that. But to also have great staff that are trained to deliver the services that most parents are paying for or covered it with insurance outside of the place,
Yeah.
that's where it kind of changes those dynamics to say, we have our trained ABA therapists here in the classroom as well.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see, and I've been learning like so much from them. Like one of my paras is like, "Oh, try this instead," and I just have been learning like so much. So
Oh, that's
that's been,
awesome.
yeah, that's been like a really great like asset.
Yeah, because
Um,
they have like certain like training and skills to be like, oh, okay, like if this isn't working, like you said, like try that.
yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, why didn't I think of that?"
Yeah,
But
the
yeah,
behavioral. It's the behavioral training that they have,
yeah,
where it's maybe not the classroom, the settings all at once type of thing, but it's like they see A and then they try B, and that's just a natural
yep.
training that they have.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's been amazing. I just didn't really like have them in the preschool setting, so like this year it's new, but like challenging
Yeah.
Mhm.
behaviors. I mean, and that looks different for every kid, but that is something that's been new to me this year, and like learning strategies to help them regulate and calm down. So I've been learning a lot from them.
Yeah,
So
and
it
every
is
time a
great.
kid has like behavior, it's or like behaviors, it's like they're trying to communicate something, right? Like so
Yeah,
for Cole, it's like we know
100%.
when he's like if he's like yelling or upset or like I don't know if he like throws his iPad, we're like some things like he's trying to tell us something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
some things he doesn't just do that for no reason. He's not like
Yep.
trying to be like a bad kid. You know what I mean? So
100%.
we kind of like we have to try different things to kind of figure out what it is. Like sometimes I'm like, he might be hungry. Like you know what I mean? Like we don't
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
we'll make him
Yeah.
a smoothie or give him his snack like and he will like be better. You know what I mean? And it's like because some kids don't even like realize they're hungry and then you give them a snack and they're like
You're like,
and then
oh,
he goes back, he's like, ooh, do like and we're
yeah.
like
Like, look at this little guy.
Like, okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
he was showing like anger and sometimes people will look at that and be like, like he's just like acting out. And
He's
it's like,
just in a bad mood or,
Yeah, and you're like,
stuff like
no, no,
that.
no, no. Yeah,
yeah.
it's just like the phrase, like all behavior is communication. And that was
Mhm.
like a
Mm-hmm.
light bulb moment and like
Yeah.
has always stuck with me because it's true and I see it every day now. But that is definitely like a really important thing to understand. And that has like really stuck with me since I first heard it. And so now like we go to like an inclusion second grade classroom every morning and I feel like I've really been like they're at the kids in the class are so sweet and like so accepting. Um, but like one of my students is just like a little like touchy and it's never like purposeful. It's or like violent. It's just like hello. So like the kid next to him and like the students are very like I said, supportive and welcoming, but some things they just are like they don't understand or like this student was like, "Oh my gosh, like why is he touching me?" So I just tapped him and I was like, "Oh, that's just how he says hi." And I'm like, "If he ever is doing anything that bothers you or upsets you, like my name's Miss Butler, like just come get me." And they're like, "Okay." And one student like gets out of his seat like constantly and I always try and make him like touch the break picture. Um and he was just running around the classroom and like the little girl sitting next to him goes, "He touched the break picture before he got up though." And I was like,
Aw,
"Oh." And I was
that's so
like,
sweet.
I love that like she like realized like that was great for him to do and then like told me and I actually like was like, "Oh, that's awesome."
Yeah.
So like I feel like I've been a big like kind of advocate this year cuz working with like the older kids and they have inclusion like built into their IEP and you don't need to like even advocate for them like I said the kids are really sweet but I'm just like, "Oh, they're doing XYZ because this," or like they're not meaning to bother you, but this, and like you just have to give like a brief little, this is why that's happening, and then they just immediately get it
Yeah.
and move on, which has really been like heartwarming to see because kids are just inherently very sweet and very accepting and not like, oh my God, you're different. It's um, just like inherently, like that's just
Yeah.
not like that's a definitely a
Yeah.
taught
Yeah,
behavior.
it's absolutely.
So that is something like with the little kids I've been seeing that's been great. It's not even like um they're like trying hard. It's just like natural. They're just like, "Hi," but like they're just really sweet and inclusive to them.
I love that. I would love
Yeah.
I hope in the future that they do that with Cole cuz I feel like even if he is never goes into a gen ed class like fully, you know what I mean? Like I feel like at least for a portion of the day it would be cool for him to go in there and um I think all kids like deserve that. Like and it's good for the
Yeah.
neurotypical kids too, I think, to like
Yep.
see and be like that these kids are different, but that's okay and to treat them, treat them the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great to see, but that is new to me too this year where the inclusion is like built into their
Yeah.
IEP. Cause
Yeah.
last year with preschool, it definitely would be great to build up to that. We
Mhm.
just did it all the time because like there was only the three preschool classes. So we kind of did like recess together and we did a lot together and we're always just around the other kids and it wasn't like a set time. Um
Yeah.
but it's important, I think, to just get it in as much as you can, but I do it's interesting and it's new to me when they have the, like, set time on their IEPs. I'm like, "Oh, this is great." Like, I didn't even know this was, like, an option, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it has been cool to see.
that is cool.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
That's awesome.
we brought Cole. Well, actually brought Cole to the park by myself. I don't know where you were. I think he might have been at work. But he was
I
like,
have a job
yeah,
sometimes.
but
I don't know where
I
you were.
don't. I'm just kidding.
He was at
But
the zoo.
he
Yeah,
was
I
at
was
the
at the
zoo.
zoo sweating by myself.
Yeah.
But Cole was like jumping off of something and it wasn't that high, but he jumped and he like lands, but he almost like squats down to the floor and
Yep.
like he jumps like hard, but he like sticks the landing. Like I'm like never worried about it because he's just
Yep.
always lands. And this little girl like saw him jump and it was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And Cole looks at her and goes, "I'm okay." And I was like, that was his first like conversation with like a little girl. It was so cute. I was like,
That's cute.
yeah, it was so cute. Because he says, like, he's, like, he says things, but he's just not, like,
the back and forth.
yeah, he's not, like,
Yeah.
conversational. But then, like, when she said that, he was like, "I okay?" I was like, and she was just like, "Okay," and just, like, ran off.
That is
Yeah.
so sweet
But I was
and
like,
such a big moment. That's awesome.
it was
I
so
love
freaking
that.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
I
so
love
cute.
that.
yeah, but that's why it's good, I think, for kids to be like for autistic kids to be around neurotypical kids, because it's like if all you're around is not other nonverbal kids, you know what I mean? Like, and that there's
No,
nothing wrong with that,
100%.
but it gives them an
Like,
opportunity to kind of like learn from neurotypical kids. Not that you're trying to make your autistic child neurotypical, like just
no,
to,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Just
Like
for
just to,
that, like, just different perspective, like socialization. Like,
yeah,
I totally understand what you mean. Yeah. No,
yeah.
I agree 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It definitely creates a
Yeah.
better environment just for everyone involved,
Yeah,
you know.
100%.
It was just
Love it.
like they deserve to coexist with, right, like neurotypical children too, you know?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that was definitely like at every school I've been in. It's like, yeah, our program is substantially separate, like
Mm-hmm.
just by nature, but we always are included throughout the school and the school environment, whether it's like assemblies and recess, like you're not actually separated. Like the whole school is always very inclusive and accepting. It's not like, oh no, don't come to this or you can't come to this.
Mm-hmm.
It's always just like, okay, if you're in pre-K, you're gonna go do this with pre-K. And now it's like you're in second grade, we're gonna go out to recess with second grade. It's not like this totally separate program or schedule, which I think is really important.
Yes, for sure.
Let me ask you this. As you've gained a little bit of experience teaching, like what's one thing you would tell the first year teacher version of yourself as you kind of reflect on some of it?
That is a good question. And I think I've said that to every question despite having read them before.
Listen,
But
I have
hearing
great
this,
questions.
no, you
Just
do.
saying.
She's like another
Um,
great one.
another banger. Definitely to not be afraid to, like, ask for help and seek out help, from coworkers, admin, mentors. I learned that a lot as I've grown, but my first year, I silently struggled and was overwhelmed a lot, so you don't have to, like, act like you have it all, like, your coworkers are such great resources, and just ask. Now I do it every single day. I ask people for help for with questions, and I also think and I actually need to tell my current self this too, is to just take a break and just kind of turn your brain off at either a certain time of day or on Saturday. I'm not going to do work stuff. Definitely to take time for yourself to fill your cup. Because
Hmm.
like I said, the work can be never ending, but everything will get done. And if it's not important, then like it won't. If it doesn't, and it's not important, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like to kind of um, take time for yourself and to like ask for help and support and not to struggle silently.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah. What's a message that you would leave for special needs parents, maybe bringing their kids to school for the first time or having their first year at school?
So definitely never apologize for anything. Like your child is unique, special, and your child will be loved and supported at school. No one goes into this field like if you're not super passionate about it. It's not just like, oh, let me get a job as a special education teacher.
Yeah.
So I think, like, no one goes into this job if they're not, loving and warm and compassionate. So just try and remember that and just always, advocate for yourself and for your child. If you need to know more info, if you want more communication, just to always speak up. But I think my biggest takeaway, and that I try and let like all parents know, is that, you know, we have their best interests at heart and that they'll be loved at school. Um, yeah, that's the most important thing for me, is like for them to feel safe and loved.
Yeah.
And then like the only way like the learning can come is once that's down. So
100%.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's more important than some of the papers that are maybe passed home at the end of the day, which are amazing because we love to see that as well. But to know that he's happy, he's gaining confidence, he enjoys being there, that's so much more important than, you know, a report card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, don't worry about that too. Like the report cards or assessments, like don't worry about that or be like, you know, stressed out about that if it's
Yeah.
like, you know, lower scores. Like every day, like every single day they're making strides and they're making changes, like just little day by day. And they're always, yeah, supported and loved. At least in
Love
Miss
that.
Butler's classroom.
Right?
Hopefully in all.
I know.
Yeah. And I had one more question for you too.
Yeah.
What's something that you'd like to tell your family that maybe you don't get to tell them every single day as they've been part of your journey throughout your entire life?
Oh, this is sweet. But I talk to my family, like I'm very blessed and lucky. My brothers are my best friends and I'm super close with my parents. So I kind of tell them everything. And they're like when I'm like stressed and overwhelmed or when it's good. I think definitely my older brother probably has no idea what I actually like do every day. Um, where like my other family might, but I am like super blessed and to have like a really, really close relationship with my brothers. We're like my older brother's 2 years older than me and my younger brother's 2 years younger than me. So we're all like best friends, very close in age.
Aw.
And I'm super close with my parents too. So
That's
they
awesome.
I talk to them all like all the time. So they're probably sick of it, but yeah, no, I love that
Too
question.
bad.
It's super, yeah, I love that question. It's super sweet. But yeah, I'm very grateful. And it was not always this way. Like my brothers and I fought like insane when we were kids.
Hmm.
Um, but then there was like a period of time, like 2021-ish, for like a couple years where my older brother Brendan was in college in Ireland and my younger brother Liam was in the Navy, so we were like separated for the first time forever, and it was like both of them at the same time, and it was really hard, and that made our relationship like grow just like overnight. It was like, oh my gosh, they're not like, you almost kind of take it for granted when you
Oh yeah.
grow up with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just getting older. That was kind of when we all were like becoming adults. So yeah, that period of time of like being able to like be away from each other and like really missing them brought us much closer together. And now like we're besties and we go to all like comedy shows together and concerts. Like we have all the same interests too, which is good.
Does
I love
does
that.
Brendan get you free tickets for the comedy show?
No, I
He
usually
makes you pay?
it depends. I actually am such a like splurge. Like I am usually the one that has no trouble like spending money on those like experiences.
Yeah.
So I'll usually like buy things without consent and then be like, Venmo me now.
Right, like you're
Yeah.
coming with me, yeah.
Yeah, but they like kind of get me into like the music they like, and we just, you know, grew up watching like the same like stand-up comedy, stuff like that. So so we're super close. And yeah, I always like, but yeah, I buy tickets to things and then I'm like, you're coming and you're paying also for yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm feeling
That's
like
awesome.
generous. But yeah,
That's
the
funny.
last one, like a few weeks ago, Brendan and I went to John Mulaney live, which was so cool because
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
awesome.
I just love a comedy show and it was really fun, but it's like, you know, this is someone we both like watched his like stand up together for like years. It's just like cool to have those like experiences together. Yeah.
He's so funny.
Yeah,
John
it
Mulaney.
was
That's
it
awesome.
was so great. It was awesome.
I don't know. I feel like I would have to see his face. Like I don't know.
That's
who he is.
that's what a lot of people said. But I'm just like,
Yeah.
I think also too, it's just like I grew up with brothers, so I'm just like used to like
You just
like
know.
I
Yeah.
love stand-up comedy. I love like
Yeah.
Always Sunny, and I love like I sometimes have the humor of like I'm just like a bro sometimes.
I love that. Me
Yeah.
and Chris went to see Theo Vaughn a few years ago.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah,
I like
he
him.
was
is
really
awesome.
good. And Chris doesn't like shows and like concerts and stuff like that. But it was a smaller venue, and I knew he loved Theo Vaughn and I love Theo Vaughn.
I love that.
Yeah.
Theo
I'm
Vaughn is the only
definitely-
show I've gone to.
So
Like-
I'm definitely getting to the point now where I will not go to things unless I like love the person. I think I'm
Yeah.
just like getting older, and like I just don't like crowds as much. So now it definitely
guy.
is, yeah. I'm really like I don't like it anymore unless I like absolutely am like a huge fan. And then
Yeah.
also like not to flex, but in the last couple like years, I've definitely like in terms of like stand up and like concerts too, but like stand up, I've seen like all the people I really like, and it's kind of like, okay, I feel like everything is like checked off my list. Like I feel content with like
Yeah.
the cool experiences I've had, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good now. I'm
That's
good for the rest
awesome.
of my life.
Well, that's like, well, Chris never minds that I go to concerts and stuff like with friends because he just doesn't want to
Yeah.
go.
I don't want to ruin it. You know what I mean?
And I love concerts.
Yeah.
I do like them, but again, it has to be someone now that I'm like the Jonas Brothers. That was like the highlight of my.
I'm
that
jealous.
Was, like, so fun.
I wish I went to that. And didn't who came out?
Jesse McCartney.
Yes.
And JoJo. It was so great, but it's like I just don't love the crowds anymore. Like my dad is a musician, and he goes to concerts all the time. But it's always people he likes, but he'll go on like, I'm such an old lady at heart. I'm like, he'll go on a school night. He'll go on like a work night. And I'm like, are you okay? Like, I wouldn't do that unless it was like, I'm going to hang out with Justin Bieber, not just go to his concert. Like, I need like,
well, what I do is like, I will take the next day off of work, like ahead of time, because I want to go and like enjoy myself and not like, you know what I mean? I won't go to concerts anymore. Like my friend last minute wanted me to go to like the Morgan Wallen concert, like the night of.
no, I need.
And it was like terrible seats, and I was like, I'm not going to a concert anymore if it's not like on the floor.
That too.
Or like right off the floor. Like I need really good seats or I'm not going.
Because you don't go all the time too. Like you're not trying to just go to shows to go to shows. You're like, no, listen, you got 10 months to plan ahead.
Yep.
Like she's setting it up 6 months in advance. Like, listen, this is what we're doing. This is how we're getting there. It's planned. So
yeah, I'm the same way in terms of like, one, I just want the seats to be good, but I always tell like my friends and my boyfriend, I'm like, if you ever go to a concert with me, we will never have bad seats because I have the worst fear of heights. So I remember going to like a Jingle Ball or something in like high school or middle school and like sobbing, like panicking the whole time. Like I do not do heights, but then it has its perks because I'm like, I will literally always have good seats because I'm not sitting up high. I'll just like throw up and I just would never do that. So I always tell people like, if you do go to a concert with me, we'll always have good seats.
Yes.
I can't sit up high.
Miss Alanna, thank you for joining us tonight. Always a pleasure catching up, and we can't wait this long next time.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.